We've moved $89 million worth of land through the platform in the last 45 days. I'm not gonna lie, this has been a terrible month in the businesses. Building 3 different businesses. We've got our land development business, a software company, and a coaching business. Every KPI in the business is down. And hopefully you'll learn something from my mistake. All right guys, welcome to a day in my life in Bali. As I was saying, this has been kind of a crappy month in business, and I'm going to break that down for you. So what I'm going to do with you right now, I want to actually share some KPIs from our land flipping business from May and give you some context. So last month in our land flipping, land development business, which is kind of the foundation of everything that I run, we had our best month in company history. Now for context, I started this business in 2019, so I've been running it for 7 years. Everything from acquiring new properties to selling properties, like everything was just clicking magically. And so coming into May, I figured we're gonna have another breakout month, and it really hasn't been that. We do still have time to turn it around. So this is what business looks like, and that's true if you're a land flipper or true if you run any business. There is inherently volatility in all business. And in the land business in particular, this is a very volatile business. Every month can look radically different. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the business over a 12-month window, revenue looks pretty clean. And in fact, it's one of the most profitable opportunities in all of real estate. And actually, if you guys want, I built out a 7 days to your first deal challenge. It's free. Every single day, it's a module that shows you how to get your first deal. I'll put that in the description for you guys down below. But the thing about the land business is it's feast and famine. You get paid based off of the quality of the decisions that you make. So if business looks like this and there's volatility, then our emotions must look like this. We must not fall victim to the boom and bust cycles of good month versus bad month. Because at the end of the day, our business, like any other business, is typically a game of inputs. Every single day, there's a set number of inputs that you must hit to get to your goal, whatever that goal may be. And so it's my job as a CEO to maintain an emotional stability, even if there's volatility in the business, and continue to do the things that I need to do every single day. Now, in between the 3 companies, we have something like 45 or 50 team members. And so it's also my job as a leader to ensure that my team isn't falling victim to that volatility, and we're still showing up and doing the non-negotiables that we need to hit to get to our goals. Now, one of the interesting things that I've been doing as well for the last 2 weeks, I've been meeting with a life coach. His name is Steve. He's an amazing man, and he actually does life coaching for free, which is kind of unheard of. He actually came to our Bali Mastermind earlier this year. Him and I hit it off, and so I did a session today with him early this morning and a session last week on Wednesday as well. And really, it's about understanding the lies that you tell yourself. We all tell ourselves lies, and those lies ultimately start to become our operating principles. You know, for me, a lie that I've told myself since I was really a young teenager is that my self-worth is tied to my results. If your self-worth and identity is wrapped up on your results, you get this crazy emotional volatility. And so there's been a lot of work that I've done with Steve and outside of working with Steve to maintain my composure and to not fall victim to the boom and bust cycles. And I hope the same for you. I gotta show you something crazy. So this is Land Insights. This is a software company I run. About 45 days ago, so the beginning of April, we launched a feature called Deal Flow. And Deal Flow is an AI-based system that allows you to sell your properties faster than anyone else. Since launching it, we've only launched it to our pro users, so a select cohort within the Land Insights platform. We've moved $89 million worth of land through the platform in the last 45 days approximately, which is just insane. Now that $89 million translates to something like $40 million of profit for our users. And so despite some emotional volatility and despite maybe not always having the results that I want, there's still a lot of really cool stuff. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have $100 million of land move through it in less than a quarter. Like, is insane. And so every single day, we're still just taking shots on goal. We're still just mastering the inputs in all 3 of the businesses. Last night, I had literally the strangest dream I've had in a long time. And the dream was this. So I was an old man in the dream, and it was from like a first person perspective. So I was still me, but somehow I knew that I was really old. And then somehow I also knew that that was my last day on earth. I went through the whole day from start to finish, like waking up in the morning and saying, all right, today's the day that I die. And then like the day getting later and later and being like, yeah, okay, I'm about to die in a couple hours. And it felt like just turning off a light switch. Like I was just gonna like disappear, like a drop of water going back into the ocean. I don't know, it was super weird. It wasn't sad. I was like very, I don't know, somehow at peace. Over the weekend, I realized that I wanted to get back into running. Almost every run starts and sucks ass. Like it almost always sucks in the beginning. So there's like a willpower element that you have to get past every single run to get to the part that it feels fun. And so I think you kind of work your discipline muscles. It's like my little secret running spot. You'll find these little roads that go through the rice terraces that are just magical. Recently, I started taking supplements more serious. First off, creatine. I do about 10 grams per day. Next is BCAAs with electrolytes. The reason I got this though is that there's 1 gram of L-citrulline, 3 servings of vitamin D3 and K2 every day. DMA. If you sweat a lot, I think that this is worth considering. So it's vitamin B6, zinc, and magnesium support. I just started on Monday this week taking peptides. I'm only taking 1 kind of peptide. I'll show you. So I'm taking BPC 157 and TB 500. It's a blend. This is called like the Wolverine blend. And this is mainly for recovery. I'm gonna show you guys my favorite breath work. So there's this account, I've talked about it before, it's called Breathe with Sandy. The 15-minute morning breath work. Now, little pro tip, do it with headphones. The next pro tip is to use a pillow. Take 15 minutes to completely reset how you feel. Okay, we're off to dinner. This concludes a shorter day in the life. We're gonna go out to dinner, then tomorrow we fly to Kuala Lumpur for the first time. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. Some people say it's the coolest place ever. Some people say it's the worst place ever. So we're in for a surprise. Thank you for tagging along for a day in my life. See you in the next video.
Like and subscribe.